extra letter. I have a
No, that
one of
makes
the
it more expensive.
new technology keyboards where it's like the snap tap system. What essentially which essentially means that um, you don't have to press the key as far for it to engage with the sensor that tells you press the button. So for like gaming and stuff, it's a little faster to like register your movements and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So for
That
like
sounds
gaming and
lovely.
stuff, it's a little faster. Yeah, not at all incredibly boring.
Fascinating. Please tell me more.
Definitely.
Does it fuck you up when you're typing then, or no? Seriously, this time
No,
I am
most of
asking
the
you.
time it's fine. It's just like I'm sloppy
Mm.
typing, so like if I were a better typist, it wouldn't make a difference. But I'm sloppy, so occasionally I get like an extra letter here and there.
All right.
Oh wait, we were speaking about like poor people. Um, did anybody see the thing about Trump changed a lot of the food stamp stuff? So for people that are
No.
able-bodied and still collecting food stamps, which sounds like they shouldn't be, they
Mm.
now can't get certain things. They have to spend it on like healthy food. They can't just get a bunch of sugary like sodas and snacks and stuff. And
Oh,
I forget what the other requirements are, but they're tightening it up right now. And I was like, haha.
yeah.
Because like I get it, hey man, if somebody's disabled for some reason and they can't work, but like they got ladies on there who are like just pumping out kids to increase their payments, and they're making $5,000-$6,000 a month off of fucking
Yeah.
food stamps
Yes.
and cash assistance through the same program. So no sympathy there whatsoever. One lady was pissed off, complaining that she couldn't fucking pay her hairstylist with food stamps anymore because they made it harder
Wow.
to sell it. Because a lot of the people that used to get food stamps, a lot of these dishonest people, because there are people that use them that need them, but a lot of the dishonest
Mm.
people that been getting food stamps, they would trade it for cash to other
Yeah.
businesses and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and that's not
Yeah. For
working
sure.
anymore.
That's. I can't believe she said that out loud, like in public.
Yeah, no, they made a video, man. She made a TikTok and put it up. Put it up.
Had no idea that that might be a not the ideal choice.
Speaking speaking of shocking things, you guys hear about what Elon was saying today about Trump?
Oh, he was shitting all over the big beautiful bill, right?
Well, there was that, but he also put out a bombshell in that he said that the reason we haven't gotten the Epstein list yet because Trump was definitely there.
Oh, fucking
Wow.
Musk can go shit in the fucking woods. He's crazy as hell. I'm
Well,
sorry. I don't buy it for a second. I think he's just mad because he was going crazy and they kicked him out of the Doge, man. Like
I don't know
he
about
says
Seems
he
that
like an odd
stepped
because
time.
down, but like I'm pretty sure they had to kick him out because he was just getting too controversial. And they
uh,
were like,
I
all right, you got to step down from the Doge. And now he's like, Trump's a fucking piece of shit. His bill's nonsense. I mean,
I
that's
mean,
my
An
thought. I
odd
don't know if
timing.
it's necessarily true. It could be that Trump is on the list. I don't know. We'll see.
see, like we don't know until the actual information comes out.
Yeah,
But there again, I mean, if he was involved, it would make sense that he would do shit to hide it. So maybe
it is
I don't.
clever though,
Yeah.
from Musk perspective. If Trump is trying to get the list out and he's unable to, then Musk can say that with basic impunity and just do it all day. And then the answer Trump is honest is obviously, hey, well, release the list.
I if I had to take a gander, if I had to try and guess what the real problem is, my theory is that the only reason he said that is so that he wouldn't get assassinated. Because I think he probably does know who was there, and if the information gets out, so he's trying to come off and say, "Oh, see that? I hate Trump just like everyone else." And
Yeah, it could
it's
be.
like, because if he can't, because there was
Say,
already, well, he already mentioned there were multiple assassination attempts on him and his family. So it's
Oh,
like,
on
well,
Musk, there were assassination attempts as well. I knew there were ones on
yeah,
Trump. Like we all knew
there
that.
was, yeah, some crazy person jumped on Musk's car while he was picking up his daughter. And he had security there, obviously, but a guy managed to get there and jump onto his vehicle with a hammer.
Oh
So, I mean,
wow,
so like it did happen. It just
that's
wasn't in
that's
the
pretty
news.
scary, man.
So like it has been going down. How bad? I don't know. So like my guess is the only reason he did that is, to save his skin. Um, although I don't know.
and
I mean, maybe he
it would
did.
also
Maybe
ingratiate him with the lefties again a little bit too if he fucking shits on Trump. That could be part
yeah,
of it too.
and that you're right. I mean, like ultimately, we'll never know what's going on behind closed doors because we're not privy to that kind of information. Just guess. But
Uh,
my guess is that there could be something else going on. He could be saving his own skin, or he could actually mean it, and Trump actually was there. I don't know.
yeah,
Again, a
I
lot of
as far as I'm concerned, whatever it takes to get the list out sooner. You know what I mean?
I
Like if it
mean,
takes accusations, all right, fine. Like make accusations as long as the list comes out. I just
it,
want to see who's actually on it and who's not.
well,
You
and
know?
it could also be a way to calm people down because, like, should this list comes out and it could reveal a whole whack of stuff going on, and a bunch of people who will then be like cornered will probably have nothing left to lose, and they could fucking who knows what kind of powers people have, and it could be
Oh
on that list.
yeah.
They could do everything they can to destroy the country as possible,
Well,
and maybe they need to mitigate that and calm people down.
it also sounds like part of the reason we're not getting the list yet is because the people that Trump put in place to do it have been like lied to Trump yet again. Because was a problem in his first presidency. Was a lot of the people were like, "Oh yeah, I'll take care of this," and then they just refused to do it. But once you've put them into position, it's hard to get them back out again. So you can get somebody else in there to do it like they're supposed to. And it sounds like the lady who was supposed to put the list out was like, "Oh yeah, I'll put the list out, sure." Not, and then fucking just chose not to, So.
See, one of the craziest things that I heard could have happened is that when people inside the FBI, who like they I don't know, had nothing left to lose, it's because it sounded like they boarded up the rooms with all the evidence, and it sounds like fights broke out with inside the building. Like, what do you mean? And I don't know.
Oh
There's
yeah,
just
there was
rumors
definitely
going on.
people who were like, "No, we're not going to give you any information." Oh yeah, doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. So it's like, is there like a conflict or something going on in there? I mean, and if there was, would they even tell us about it? Probably not. It's the FBI.
Oh
So
no,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
And there's similar things going on with the CIA. So for all we know, I mean, there could be fucking full on guerrilla warfare going on in American buildings right now. We wouldn't know about it.
Yeah, oh,
We could
entirely
get.
possible, man, entirely possible.
I
The
mean,
thing
when
to
you got.
remember is like there's a lot of people embedded deep in the FBI who are basically agents for the lefties, their sort of psychotic DEI
Well,
stuff that are happy to fight against what the American people tell them to do.
and
'Cause
when
they
you
don't
got
care.
people we got people who are like a caged animal or like a cornered animal. They have nothing left to lose, and that's when they fight the hardest.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that could be going on as well, and that would be interesting. But all this is speculation. I like to think that there's a fucking guerrilla warfare going on right now inside these buildings, and
I
they're
like
just
to
waiting
think
to
that
ship
there's
out.
still some sort of motivation to get that list out. Because I think that all the people that were abused on that island really genuinely deserve some form of justice, even if the only justice they'll ever get is public shaming. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's not fair to the people who were victims there that nobody ever gets to know who went over there and spent all that money.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'd be pretty surprised if Trump's going to have any kind of damning stuff come out with that. I mean, he did fucking ban Epstein from his properties like well, a long, long time ago. Well before any of that shit came out, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That is.
Yeah.
That
So
is
yeah, I'd
the
be
story.
surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, way before anything came out about Epstein, like again, decades ago.
Well, Trump found out what Epstein was
Epstein
into, and supposedly that was when he was like, "All right, you're not welcome in my fucking clubs anymore. Like you're a pimp and you're selling kids. Like you're out."
Yeah. So it would be pretty surprising if, there's anything again.
But that's
against
just
Trump
a story.
himself.
I don't know that that's like that's what everybody says. That doesn't necessarily mean that's true either.
Right.
To be
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
But I just want the fucking list.
Yeah, it could
I
be
don't care
just
who's on it. I want the fucking list. Because it doesn't
Yeah,
matter to me who's
that would
on the
be
list. There's nobody I'm gonna be like holding water for if they're on the list. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if it turns out legitimately Trump is on the list, all right, fuck that guy. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter.
For sure. Indeed. I would be surprised though if he was.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case. But until we see,
Yeah,
it,
I thought it. Didn't it already come out that like Bill Clinton went there like 21 times or something like
Oh
that?
yeah, he went up there many times, which is not at all surprising.
Yeah. Without his Secret Service detail.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you don't want people that are going to throw up when you're raping children to like be with you when you're out there.
Yeah, leave them
It's
on the
gonna be
mainland.
inconvenient for you as a child rapist like Bill Clinton.
Yeah, for the fewer people that know about it, it's better
Yeah.
for those scumbaggies. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know who the fuck else was doing that shit.
I just want the list out. I don't care who's on it. I just want the list out. I think we all deserve to know. I think the victims deserve the justice. Yeah. Well, hopefully, eventually, it'll happen.
It'd be nice to finally get this over and done with.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly. We all need to know who the fucking pedophiles in the midst are. You know, like let's go.
I think a lot of people are hoping that we just forget about it, but it keeps coming up in the popular conversations.
Well, everybody wants to know. It's a justifiable curiosity, man. Even if they're not interested in helping the victims or anything like that. Even if they just like lurid fascination with the drama of the whole thing.
Yeah. Speaking of drama, you mind if I move the subject a little bit to pop culture stuff?
I'm curious here. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So about I think shortly after the Barbie movie, Ryan Gosling, the guy who plays Ken, he posted a picture just for I think he retweeted it just because he thought it was funny. Someone photoshopped his head on Black Panther's body.
Oh, that is funny. I get it. Yeah.
And I thought, oh, okay, that's a funny little. Of course, he got some shit for it, but he thought, oh, that'd be a cool idea. All right. Well, we just found out through various different pictures, we got all this, that apparently there's going to be a new Black Panther in Marvel Comics, and it is a white guy.
Oh no! What do they say when the shoe's on the other foot? Suddenly, race is going to matter in role casting.
I heard this and I thought, no way. And then I saw the panel. I'm, oh my god! And then it gets even better because the guy who wrote this is a black man, and he really hates all the shit going on Marvel right now. So they hired him as a diversity hire, and he just starts to look. I'm going to write whatever the fuck I want. Leave me be. And he wrote up a white Black Panther, and apparently it is. Well, so there was a little bit of soap opera. It's Marvel Comics. It's always a soap opera. A while back, Sue Storm, the blonde woman from Fantastic Four, she divorced her husband, Mr. Fantastic, and she did the Black Panther for a while, and apparently, had a kid. So this guy is technically royalty, and he's a white dude. I'm like, holy shit! So he's like half black.
That's fun.
I thought that's interesting. All right.
If they get Ryan Gosling to play the role, that would be glorious.
Well, he's been like in the news lately because they're wondering like, hey, dude, you could actually play this guy now.
Yeah, like go down there, throw your weight around, see if you can't get the role, man.
The meme is now real. I mean, you're now This is now the fucking Black Panther. Let's go.
He should absolutely do it. That would be the best.
I don't know. I don't know if Disney / Marvel has the guts to do it, but the comics division certainly does, and I thought that was great. And they can't say shit because it was written by a black guy.
Yeah.
Let's fucking.
That is
fucking
brilliant.
go. A black guy who's fucking tired of all this progressive nonsense. I'm like, oh, let's go.
You mean that this might not only be a movie, but just a movie that's written to be interesting and entertaining?
Yeah.
Just like with nothing else in mind. That I'm more interested in that, honestly.
Yeah. I. This is the most.
I'll believe it
So
when I see it. Still, even now.
Like I'm gonna get the comic when it comes out. I just don't know when it comes out, and I'm like, I gotta go to comic shops again, which is gonna be great. I've been this excited. So,
Is there any chance they change the name to Mulatto Panther?
No.
Oh, that would be really funny.
There's, I mean, I don't know if that would be stupid if they did, but yeah, because Black Panther, it's like a title for the royal family, and you have to earn your position to get there. Like, okay, so
Unless you're a woman.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, I mean, actually, women can be Black Panthers. It's just stupid. Doesn't last very long because it never works. It's kind of like the last Black Panther movie, Wakanda Forever. Shuri became the Black Panther, and nobody cared. Nobody was interested. That movie fucking tanked.
There was another movie. I don't even know that. That's funny.
Oh, you don't well, they
I
want
probably talked about it when it was happening, but I never went and saw the movie, and I didn't. Yeah, I just like never talked about it. Saw much online about it.
No one had any interest. They kind of made the movie quick. The effects are terrible, and on top of all that, they introduced the Atlanteans, which really pissed a lot of people off because they made them Mexicans, so like water Mexicans.
Oh, I think I saw something about that. Yeah, I remember seeing the water. Yeah, I remember that part. And it's just goofy as fuck. Like, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw like clips or something.
Well, the dramatic thing at the end was probably like the craziest because what they said is they're trying to figure out how is he so powerful. It's because he has a power that can keep the little film of water all around him, and that water gives him power, that kind of stuff. So they're literally baking him and heating him. And they said, well, where's the highest concentration of the water on his body? It's like, it's on his back. We have to heat his back. I'm like, what? Are you literally saying he's a what?
Oh, no.
And I remember hearing that thing. No way. And then so many people came out and reviewed them like, oh my god, they actually did it? What the fuck?
No.
And,
they did not. So, that is fucking amazing.
And so, like, I haven't seen the movie. I keep telling myself I should give it a shot. Part of the other reason why it's so bad is because the cringing, the writing is so cringe. And they introduce Ironheart, and she's like the black Iron Man who literally got the title because she literally stole Iron Man's suit and refurbished them. It's like, bitch, how many stereotypes can you put in this movie?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy, dude. Like, she didn't invent anything herself. She just jacked it.
Yeah, it was like the stereotype about black people stealing things. It's like, oh, so you're gonna have this new hero of a black girl stealing things. Like, okay, and then you're gonna have water Mexicans, and the power comes for their wetbacks. I'm like, oh no, this is unintentionally. Shit. It's unintentionally the most racist Marvel movie that was ever made, and they are trying hard to let people forget it. It kind of works. We're all slowly forgetting this movie existed.
I can't imagine whoever wrote it didn't know that. That's fucking funny.
I think they thought it was empowering. It's like when black people use the N-word. It's like, it's empowering. Okay. So I think that they're thinking that. It's like, oh yeah, if Mexicans, take the wetback term, it's empowering. And black people stealing, that's empowering. Like, come on. I thought that was
Sure,
funny.
why not?
That is beautiful.
Yeah, the Marvel movies are so crazy right now, and they've done so many stupid things, and so many people stop watching the movies that even though they want to come out with a whole bunch of new stuff, how are you going to fix it? So many people didn't see these movies, or even those Disney TV shows that nobody watched. They all failed. They're all epic failures.
Oh
So it's like,
yeah,
what do
yeah.
you?
None of it was even remotely interesting.
It's like apparently the Eternals they involved some sort of like celestial creature, this giant thing that was about to come out of the earth, and there's like this half of a hand and a head coming out, and it's permanently changed the landscape, and they don't acknowledge it for like 6 movies. I'm like, that's a pretty big deal. That's a fucking
Oh
massive deal.
yeah. Well, I remember there was a movie about like some fucking heroes, and then they were all. It turned out they were like manufactured by the people that fucking the Celestials or something,
Yeah, yeah,
and
the
they were there to
Eternals.
make sure that nothing damaged the fucking fetus that was going to hatch out of the fucking Earth. And then they
That's
Yeah,
the
killed it.
Earth X. The Earth X series was there was a series like a dystopian thing called Earth X, where there's basically the reason there were so many super planet was to protect the planet because at the center of the Earth was a celestial egg, like a baby celestial growing, and going to eventually give birth. So there's a bunch of
Yeah.
superpowered people to protect the planet from any kind of outside threats or whatever. It's one of my favorites, by the way. Yeah, if you fucking there's a list. I think Comics Explained did the whole fucking run. There's Earth X, and then like Paradise X, or there's a couple other ones after that. But dude, it was a really good fucking series, man. It sounds a
yeah,
lot like that's what you're talking about.
yeah. Probably they
I'm
did.
talking about the movie specifically. That's probably where they got the storyline.
Yeah,
It
Yeah,
you
wasn't
the
get
about
part
heroes
sounds
though. It
like
was just about like a small group called the Eternals, who were like
yeah.
immortal superheroes that had been here for like hundreds of years,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
thousands
I'm
of
somewhat
years. Like they were
familiar.
in ancient Egypt and all this other shit. And
They
yeah,
yeah. They've been around for a while. They were created by like the Kree, and the Kree were created by the Celestials and all that. So it's this ancient alien thing that they had going on,
oh
which
no,
is like
the Eternals were like created by according to the movie, were created by the Celestials. They literally showed like a
yeah,
warehouse where they had multiple copies of them there,
yeah.
like full of just different, like same, full of like copies of the same people that were on Earth. It was a very disturbed, like they were very disturbed by it when they saw it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the
Yeah,
movie
that's different.
continuity. Yeah, the
That's
movie
different than everything.
continuity. Yeah, the movie continuity tries to do its own thing, um,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's all terrible because
Oh yeah.
like after the I can't recall if it was the first Avengers or something. Kevin Feige was like given like like large executive control over the Marvel stuff. He was believed to be the guy orchestrating all of this, and but really it was also him. And then there was like a Marvel committee, and it was a bunch of guys, nerds, and all that who would look over the lore and make sure things would go according to like comic, or at least close enough to it. Kevin Feige was tired of talking with them because it's like he felt he could do it better. So when he was given supreme control, he fired that whole committee, and so ever since then, there's no control over lore, continuity, or anything. And that's
Oh
kind of when
god.
things started. Yeah, and that's kind of when things started going awry, because you want to have a group that would control like the lore, so that way you wouldn't get too far off the rails and start retconning shit and doing things that don't make no fucking sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, that you'd want
Yeah,
to have like a group like that's what's its sounds similar to like The Hobbit, like the guy who did the Lord of the Rings movies did The Hobbit, and there was less control over how closely he followed the books because of his extreme success with the movies,
well, that
and so he
I
basically
mean,
just rewrote all this shit and added all this other shit and told a completely different story than if you actually read the book.
oh, you mean Peter Jackson? Yeah,
Yeah.
That was a studio thing because Peter Jackson wasn't involved in that at all. They weren't going to bring him
okay.
in.
I thought he was still involved in that. I thought he was
He,
the
he
one that wrote
was.
that.
He was at the end because it's like it was going to be directed by Robert Rodriguez, and they decided to just sort of do their own kind of story to extend it into 3 movies because it's just one book. I mean, it doesn't have to be 3 movies, but they wanted another trilogy because Lord of the Rings was so successful. So they had to
Yeah,
fill
they
in.
brought in a decent amount from like the Silmarillion too. Like it wasn't just the Hobbit that they're throwing
Oh
all that shit
yeah,
in.
but the main issue with, for me at least, was that they changed all the characters and the storylines and like added stuff in there that just wasn't in there originally. Like
Yeah, like
to
the
tell a
fucking
different story.
the elf chick, the redheaded elf chick,
Yeah,
having the love thing with fucking one of the dwarves or whatever was
yeah.
definitely not in the books. Yeah. Or
The communist
apparently in
the
that
communist
universe,
town weird
and in
weird
that universe,
communist
if
town
something's
thing
falling,
that didn't make any sense. That was kind of fucking
yeah.
weird.
Apparently in that universe, if something's falling, like a falling rock, you can use that to spring and to jump higher. In
Oh
that
yeah, no, that
universe,
makes
apparently.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember Legolas doing that? He was like literally jumping, falling like rocks and shit, and
Yeah.
managing to jump higher instead of the rock just falling faster the
Oh
way it would
wow, that
work in
is pretty lame.
reality. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was ridiculous.
I know, like Peter Jackson gets a lot of shit for those movies, but it's like the only thing he did was go there and say action. I mean, he wasn't really the guy in charge for any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, he gets a lot of shit. It's kind of like Kevin Smith when he got a lot of shit for that He-Man cartoon show. It's like he was brought in at the last minute because they couldn't get another director, and they wanted someone with some star power. And he was the only guy that said yeah because he needed the work. And so he got a lot of shit because that He-Man show, terrible. Fucking terrible. Oh, I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, but it is god awful.
Yeah, no, he managed to piss off a vast majority of his long-term fans with all that. Him being such a fucking asshole about it.
Yeah,
well, it wasn't
he
so much.
Really made a lot of people upset on that one.
Yeah, well, again, like he wasn't the one who wrote any of that kind of stuff. He was the director they brought in because they needed someone with star power, and so I think he gets a lot of shit for it. But ultimately, it wasn't him. He didn't write the scripts. He didn't design the characters. The only thing he did, he came in partially because he needed a paycheck, but also through his connections, he was able to get in other actors like Mark Hamill, and what's her name who played Buffy, to play the lead character. That was it. I feel I kind of feel sorry for him, but now that we've gotten more information about all this and we found out what happened behind the scenes, he's slowly being forgiven for He-Man. Didn't help him on social media though.
Oh,
God
well,
damn.
he already kind of fucked himself over, at least in my opinion, when he did Clerks 3.
Well, he started trying to take out like Clownfish TV for saying like what they had heard and what was happening and what did end up being the case. Like he was trying to like destroy fucking people like that, like YouTube channels for fucking outing the fucking nonsense. That was absolutely ended up happening in the show.
Yeah, that part was. You're absolutely right. That one was not good. Not a good look.
Oh, I was just looking at the fact that he killed one of the main characters in the Clerks movie. In the Clerks movie, the third one, when he killed the one guy, Randall.
Yeah.
Instead of just not making a third movie, and that kind of destroyed his fan base a lot because everybody was just kind of like, all right, you know what? Fuck off, man. Like, we're done with your garbage, Mr. Smith.
Yeah. I don't know. I think if you live in LA long enough, it's just inevitable.
Yeah, and then his movie kind of became like an SJW film, which was kind of lame for a Kevin Smith movie. Is like, your fan base is definitely not looking for that in their films. You know, like they're definitely looking for just fucking fart jokes and dick jokes. Like, come on, dude. Like, throw in some weed humor, throw in some dick jokes. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, you can cry in public as much as you want. But don't fuck with your own shit like that. Like, dude.
Oh
Well, you
God,
I guess
that,
it is yours to fuck with, but
Was it George Lucas or Steven Spielberg who changed like the fucking Greedo shot first or whatever? You know, that kind of dumb shit.
yeah. I replaced all the guns in ET with walkie-talkie.
Yeah, that was fucking. I've seen clips of that and it's awful. It is
Dude,
just
I've seen the South
awful.
Park ones. South Park making fun of it was brutal. It was fucking hilarious.
And it's such
Yeah, I
a
think-
weird one because like part of what made that movie exciting was the fact that those dudes had guns. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's an absurd thing to do.
yeah. And the other thing about Kevin Smith is fucking. I can't. Just stop crying. Stop it.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, when
Like
did
the-
he start crying all the time? Was it after the heart attack or before?
I'm pretty
After.
sure. I'm pretty sure it was after the heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
I get it.
Well,
Yeah,
you know, his
the,
dad died screaming, right? Like, so I imagine he has a lot of fucking... That probably really fucked with him.
Yeah, I can do it, once or twice in public. You want to do the crying, it's fine.
Yeah.
You can do probably most of that off.
Oh, I'm not
off
justifying it. I'm not
off-
giving him an excuse. I'm just saying, like, his mind is probably fucked at this point. Like, he's just...
He's terrified of going out like his dad did. I
Yeah,
guess.
I would imagine that was something that definitely fucking occurred to him while he was facing down the heart attack. It's like, oh shit, I might die like my dad, screaming in terror in a hospital. You know.
Either way, yeah, his heel turn is definitely one of the most disappointing out of all the heel turns over the last decade or so.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Oh,
No,
let's-
Kevin. I used to watch his podcast every now and then, and some of his reactions.
Oh, yeah.
and stuff. But it's like I can't. Like I used to watch Fat Man on Batman, like nice little nerd stream, or that other one he did with when he talking about Hollywood movies. That was actually a lot of fun. Nah, dude. Like congratulations on losing all that weight and surviving a heart attack, but can't do it.
Yeah. Well, he
Yeah, you get the one from like a bar somewhere in there, like the black guy as a co-host. I remember watching that for a while, but that got insufferable at some point.
We should make more movies like Dogma. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Dogma was a
Yeah,
great
I love
one.
Dogma.
I was just talking to somebody about that one last night.
Mallrats. Mallrats still pretty good.
Ooh,
I've watched that
yeah.
fairly recently. That was actually the first Kevin Smith movie I ever saw. It was Mallrats. Or Clerks or Chasing Amy or any of that shit.
I think I actually saw Clerks first, which is weird because Mallrats is definitely more my speed than like Clerks.
Good old Clerks. I've never really been a huge fan of Clerks, and Mallrats was okay. I think it was just Dogma I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a much bigger budget, I'm sure. Yeah, no, it was a great movie. I saw that one in the theater the day it came out. Dragged all my... For sure.
Ooh, let's see. You guys have been following the Logan Paul CoffeeZilla case?
No, I don't pay attention to any of that stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, every turn it takes, it seems like Logan Paul is fucking himself up over and over with this case. Like, he's just ruining his things. Like, so it turns out Logan Paul was investigated by the SEC. I guess they decided not to press charges. But they definitely investigated him. And he's being investigated by the FBI. We don't know the status on that, whether they're still investigating or whether they've decided not to charge him or anything like that. And it's all based on evidence that was turned over to them by CoffeeZilla. right? And this has all come out during the trial. Logan tried to keep it confidential, but I think for some reason his lawyers just decided not to anymore. I think it's because they realize that as the case is progressing, more and more of this information is destroying Logan's reputation pretty thoroughly, and it looks like it's gonna be a pretty slam dunk case of Logan Paul losing the lawsuit entirely. But not only is he going to probably lose the lawsuit, he's probably going to also get busted for malicious. Like, they're going to say it was malicious prosecution where he, just did it for revenge. And it's going to be costing him a lot of fucking money, potentially, yeah. So, I thought that was kind of interesting. And it's all because of things he did. So it's not even like Coffeezilla being, a brilliant whatever. It's like Logan just being too dumb to shut the fuck up and not, get involved in suing people when he only stands to lose.
Yeah. Even if he won, it's not. Yeah, I don't know. It was such a stupid thing to do. So fucking dumb.
Oh well, everybody in their fucking mom will stand up in line to fucking give Coffeezilla money. To fucking help with any sort of court costs or loss or whatever, like if he gets fined or something. Because it's not like the one where it was like, what's his name? Carl Jobs. Because Carl Jobs was lying about what the whole lawsuit was about. Like, this is, everything that Coffeezilla said is absolutely something he had evidence to back up, and he genuinely, was not lying for the most part. And he never misrepresented the case. He just said, I'm being sued for this, and Logan's doing it for revenge, and the texts came out and it was, oh yeah, he's doing it for revenge, and that is what he's being sued for. All right. Refreshing. But also a lot of the stuff that essentially what it comes down to is, at the very end of the day, all the different things that Logan's done so far have just made him look bad. And increased scrutiny, but also a big part of a lawsuit like that, where you're doing defamation of a defamation case, you as the plaintiff are going to have to testify. Like, you don't have to testify, but it's really, really unlikely that you're going to have even a small remote chance of winning if you don't. But it's very unlikely that should he testify, it would not incriminate him as far as all of the potential criminal charges that might come from an FBI or SEC investigation. And that anything he says in court will also be admissible in any other, trial or whatever. So it's like, he just kind of is put himself in a position where he's going to have to incriminate himself, more or less, to continue to go after Coffeezilla to take it all the way to trial, all the way to court where he testifies. And if he doesn't, he's probably going to end up having to pay all of Coffeezilla's legal fees and stuff.
I wonder if they go with punitive, where he has to pay the triple amount for everything. That'd be fun. I don't know. I think that would be cool. I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea if that applies in this situation. I just always love the.
Don't get me wrong. I think that would be a good way to go. I think that's probably what should happen. But I don't know how that's going to go. So.
Yeah, I would imagine it's going to be at least fucking court fees and shit, right? Because as ridiculous as the lawsuit is, I would imagine he's paying Coffeezilla's court costs.
Probably, because it really does seem like there's not a lot of room to claim that he didn't do it just for spite.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, I don't. It's fucking so bizarre. Just move on with your fucking life. Yeah, even if he won, he's gonna come out looking worse. But you know what I mean? Like, there's no good fucking reason. There's absolutely no good fucking reason for him to do it,
Yeah,
other than
there
spite.
was
But
never a good
consider that a
reason
good
for him to do what he was doing. Yeah, that was always a really dumb fucking plan.
Yeah, unless you're a big fan of Spite, you're not going to be cheering him on for that fucking lawsuit. So it's just a bad idea all around. And he's still going through with it. Like, Jesus, how many fucking chances has he had to just fucking stop? And he just doesn't. He just refuses to.
Yeah, that's another good point. Yeah, how many chances he could have not filed the lawsuit in the first place. I wonder if he even talked to an attorney before he went, like after, or if he even listened to his attorney. Because I'm pretty sure like any competent attorney would have been like, look, there's enough evidence to almost convict you. You are being investigated by these agencies. You
Yeah,
really don't want to fucking draw more attention to yourself at this point. Like, you should just
yeah,
really not.
yeah. I imagine the lawyer being like, "Look, if you really insist, we'll fucking do this, but it's I highly advise against doing it.
Yeah.
It's a fucking horrible idea.
Yeah, I cannot
And
imagine
like,
any
all you're gonna
attorney
do
told
is
him this
what?
was like a great idea.
Yeah,
I cannot. It's such a like an awful decision on his part as far as like smart
yeah. I'm like, what?
moves.
So it's gonna cost like, what was his best case thing? Like, oh, it's gonna cost him a lot of money. Oh, terrible. Yeah, I just don't understand why he thought that was.
Well, even like
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
he's
Like,
losing reputation too, which is which is the part that probably is ironic if you think about it, because like
yeah, that's what he's suing for, and
yeah,
he's
that's what
actually
he's
getting a
suing for, and it's
reputation,
like, oh, that's kind of fucking
essentially.
funny.
He's like, I was doing it for the memes. That's why. Get it? It's like an ironic court case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say one other thing that happened here in Canada, and then I gotta go head off
Oh,
and take
right
care
on.
of some things. Yesterday, which was an interesting day here in Canada, we had like the king came over and gave a throne speech, which is usually doesn't happen. Usually it's the governor general, the representative of the royal family. Yeah, because we're still a British colony, I guess. Unfortunately. But yeah, so usually when you have the throne speech, he'll come over, do this thing, and then the prime minister will go up there and make his own little speech, say all the things he's got planned for the upcoming thing. But one of the problems is that our new prime minister here, Mark Carney, has said he will not table a budget until the fall. So that means all summer long we won't get a budget. And the reason why this is a problem is because we're having problems economically, financially, and people who want to start businesses and all that. We need to know what the plan is moving forward, so that way we know whether it's a good time to invest, whether it's not a good time. Should we, get a house? Should we not get a house? That kind of stuff. We need to know what the plans are. And he has said that he will not table a budget. And I don't know. And then the other thing is he then said that he's going to do a spending bill, and he's going to give himself $1 trillion to spend however he sees fit. And I thought that's not
Jeez,
good.
dude.
That's
That's
essentially
a fucking choice to tell people.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but I have to cut down, politics speak in order to sum up exactly what he said. So he's essentially saying he's giving himself a blank check. He's going to do whatever he's going to say or do whatever he wants, and he's not going to tell us what he's going to spend the money on. That's sketchy as fuck. So that's not good.
Oh, well, you know what that's going to get spent on, right? He's bringing all those people over. He's going to be offering them free money to come.
Yeah. There's
What he wants
the
it
other
for.
thing.
Probably other stuff too, but I mean that's probably the majority of it right there. Is just to
Well,
put
and
vibes
part
out.
of the problem. Yeah. Well, and part of the problem here in Canada is we're having a housing crisis. We literally have no places for people to live. We've brought in so many people, and so one of the solutions is to build housing fast, quick. Is this what's called modular housing? Essentially, he's just taking like those sea cans storage tanks that we don't use anymore. He's just going to refurbish them into houses, turn them into like apartment buildings. And I'm like, that's not really a solution, but essentially that's what he's planning and that's what he's doing. Now, here's the thing: that form of housing is done by a company called Brookfield. Now, Brookfield used to be Mark Carney's business, so essentially he could give out contracts to other companies to make houses, but he specifically says, no, this company will do it, my company. So, okay, how much money is that going to cost? So you're going to make yourself insanely rich making cheap housing? Like that's horrible.
Ooh, yeah. So
That's
he's
He still
basically walked in
he
and he's
still
like,
owns the
"Oh, I'm
company.
gonna fucking."
well, he says he walked away and all that so he can become prime minister. I'm like, okay, but then why are you exclusively giving contracts to the company that you used to run? And assumably, once you get out, you're probably going to go right back to them. It's like, why
Kind of like
would you?
Halliburton, kind of like Dick Cheney and Halliburton.
Yeah,
That sounds
exactly.
like a really apt description. Yeah, I was gonna say like exactly like fucking Dick Cheney, man. Wow.
So, and it's
No
insane.
Wonderful guy
shame.
to model yourself after.
And the other thing is, like, he had a whole whack of campaign promises. And he's breaking every single one of them. Every single one. The
Oh
other
yeah,
thing
no
is that,
surprise there.
like, when he was acting, because when Justin Trudeau stepped down, Mark Carney was the acting prime minister. And what he did is that he did like a tariff for tariff thing on the United States for Donald Trump, and which of course didn't go all that well. And then what happens as soon as he becomes prime minister? He gets rid of all the tariffs that we put on America. So wait, what happened? You said you were going to be tough on Trump, and then now he's like, oh, I'm just going to get rid of it all. And then he goes out to talk with Trump, and he's all nice and cozy and that kind of stuff, and no threats of tariff. I'm like, what the
Wow.
fuck is?
Yeah.
What the
Well, I
fuck
mean
is?
the imbalance, like again, considering how little the U.S. gets from Canada and how much Canada gets from the U.S., it was a kind of an untenable position already, right?
Well, and
It's like
it's incredibly
25% from Canada to the U.S. and like 1% from the U.S. to Canada or something like that.
yeah. And so and these tariffs are insane. Not to mention Trump did just today announce that he's going to increase the tariffs on Canada by an additional 23%. So wait, hold on. So now we're being tariffed 46%. Holy shit! So it's now even worse. I just think that's insane. But
Yeah, yeah,
the reason why,
that is starting to look a little bullyish behavior.
yeah. But the thing is like, so yesterday was an interesting day because, um, like our, so we have like the that socialist party here, the NDP, and during the last election they lost. You need at least 12 seats to be considered an official party, and they only got 7. So now you could the prime minister could recognize them and give them official party status, and that would just placate them and all that. But they didn't give them that. And so what was funny is that probably a power move, but the NDP said that um, during the next vote of, if there's a vote of no confidence, they said that we're going to vote against prime minister, meaning that the Conservatives and the Bloc and the NDP do a vote of no confidence, which could happen any day now. Like it probably won't. Like tomorrow is the last day, and then it's the weekend. So then we have 2 weeks, and if they do that, we're going back to another election.
Oh, interesting.
Damn.
I like this has happened before in Canadian history, but it's very rare. And I'm like, you mean to tell me that we in the next week or so we could have another election, which
Are they
is
going to elect Trudeau back in again? They're going to elect you guys are going to elect Justin Trudeau, aren't you?
I hope not. I mean, if he wanted to, he could try to come back as leader, and maybe he could pull that off. I hope not.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, probably not. I thought it'd be funny. Just the idea is pretty funny
it is, but yes,
and terrifying.
it is. This whole thing is terrifying. This whole thing is like, let me tell you, I'm tired of living through all these historical events. I just want to go back to normal, guys. Just stop it.
Well, this is part of the war for China, though. Like this has always been how they view warfare. Is
Yep.
this bribing other countries to destroy themselves and getting involved in their politics, and like right now there's like a small island nation that you're going after, And these poor fucking islanders are just buying it hook, line, and sinker. Like, oh, they built us this thing. It's like $1 million building. No, they don't want anything in return. It's cool. And they're like,
Yeah, they won't own this entire island when we can't pay them back.
yeah, and it's like, they do this. They clearly they've bribed the politicians there, and they're probably bribing a lot of politicians in like Canada and the U.S. and all these other countries to try to fucking subvert the other nations. So
yeah, no, that's what they've been doing for decades, man. They would be like, "Yeah, we're going to do this for you."
To invade Taiwan, they've been practicing it. They went over and started throwing their weight around on Australian waters, doing live fire exercises around Australia.
Wow.
Yeah,
so like,
I wouldn't have thought they'd do it with Trump. I mean, I figured Biden. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think they'd have the balls to do it for Trump in office.
I think they're getting to the point where they think they're invulnerable. I don't think they care anymore. I think they think they're they're going to win if it comes down to it. So they're willing to just fucking throw caution to the wind.
In the China case, I think
it seems like desperation, doesn't it?
Well, I was going to say that because what's going on, because like China's got their whole shit going on right now. Like they know that they're not going to have the power or even anything else to put up much of a fight in the next few years, because their population is shrinking. The people in the military are going. Their country is closing. So if there's any chance of taking anything, they have to do it now. That's why they're being as bold as they are, because they don't have the time. They just don't.
Yeah, that's their only shot. Yeah.
As a country, they have an expiration date, and that expiration date's coming close. So it's like that's why they're going to get a lot more bolder, a lot sooner than intended. But they also know they're not going to win if it's a heads. They have to scare you into it. That's why it's like you just have to weigh them out. They're going to calm down and just slowly.
Yeah. I'm not saying China's going to win. I'm just saying like.
Yeah, they've been
making some fucking threats, like they've been making a lot of real serious threats the way they're going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. That's the whole thing. It's the world's being quite interesting right now. I wish it would stop.
Yeah. Well, I think the majority of what's going on, I genuinely think goes back to China and potentially even Russia maybe assisting them, but. Primarily, I believe China is behind a lot of this.
Well, if I had to put on my tinfoil hat, I think a good portion, like a lot of it's coming from Europe and Germany and all that stuff. Mostly because there's a lot of influence in there, like the World Economic Forum and all that. So it's like, I think global chaos is what they want, because that's what they need in order to get shit going. They're hoping people will start having more revolutions, because the problem with revolutions is that the people will topple their own government, but someone's got to step forward and lead. Whoever that's going to be, it's never the people you want.
Oh yeah, that's true. It never is. No, you do not want revolutions.
Yeah, because
isn't that what the Yellow Jacket people in France? Like, isn't that still going on? About it?
Pretty much. I mean, that it never really went away. It's just I am surprised at how much the government is digging their feet in on this. It's like, you clearly don't have the will of the people. I mean, Macron, he won the last election only because he did a massive coalition with every political party he could get who would listen. And that's why their government is super disruptive, because it's like, you can't share that. It's like sharing power with a massive group. And it's like, it doesn't work. You need a leader, and the leader is tied with all these different radicals, the extremist stuff, and it's just going to fall apart. It's an unsustainable model.
Yeah.
But
Macron let his fucking cradle robbing wife fucking smack him around. Yeah, that just happened a week ago.
Yeah, I saw that. That was hilarious. I mean, no one that might just ruin him entirely. It's like you were already ruined. This was just the nail in the coffin.
Mm-hmm. Then you let your fucking old ass wife smack you around in public.
Yeah.
God damn, dude.
Yeah, no, he's...
That was his nanny, right? If I remember the story correctly, they've been fucking since she was what, in her 30s, and he was in his fucking, 12 or 13 or something?
I don't know about that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, given these people's degeneracy.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. I think she was a nanny. Not 100%, but she's definitely a lot older than him. She's like at least 20 years older than him, right?
Something like that. Yeah, quite up there.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you got that guy, Keir Starmer. God, that what people were. Anyway, yeah, I can go on. Yeah. Well, and I think there was also Germany. They had like a populist or a nationalist party in there, and they literally made them illegal as a party. It's like, how'd you manage that?
Wow.
That's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bitch. Fuck, who's the German bitch that's in charge? The old lady. Whatever her fucking name is. Is she still in charge?
No. Merkel, Chancellor Merkel. Yeah, I think she stepped down a while ago. She was so fucking bad for that country. Holy shit.
Oh, she's bad
Seems
for the
like they
whole
all
EU.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all bad. I mean, right now it's just the legal system trying to see how shit goes. Me and Savvy, before we were streaming, we're talking about like Alberta separating and the domino effect that would have on Canada. I'd be real curious to see how this plays out.
I'm just finishing up a season playing as the Calgary Flames. Calgary's in Alberta, right? Did I have that right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I remember something.
Yeah, they're the neighboring city. It's the Edmonton Oilers. That's our hockey group out here. Our football group used to be called the Edmonton Eskimos, but then Eskimos is considered racist. Now we're the Edmonton Elk.
How is Eskimo a racist term?
Yeah, well, the people are the Inuits. Apparently, Eskimo is essentially for the Inuit people.
So, the part of the problem, one of the reasons I'm so upset about the Eskimo thing getting changed, because when they were coming up with the name for the team, and they wanted to call them that, the actual Eskimo population really liked it because they got to their culture was being recognized and heard, and it brought the name out there. It was in the popular speech and all that, and it helped their tourism. They fucking loved it. They loved it because it kept them in the public conversation. Since the Eskimos taken off the name and they're now the Elks, Eskimos don't get talked about anywhere near as much. The name, like the cultures and the names, they're on search algorithms has just plummeted the moment they took them off, and so we have a bunch of people who are potentially going to be forgotten in years to come, and we won't even recognize that they were there. And that when I heard about that kind of thing, and searches for Eskimos have just plummeted, I'm like, that's more racist than the name itself, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so the Inuit people have never really had a problem. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Oh, they love it.
Some kind of white saviors were having a problem with it.
Yep. Moral busybodies.
Everything.
Yeah. That's all that was all about. So that was that was really, really annoying, and I think it's more racist to take it off. It's the same thing with what was that team you guys have down there in the States, the Chiefs?
Yeah. Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, did they change their name?
No, the Chiefs are still the same. The Cleveland Indians changed their name to the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, there's also the Atlanta Braves.
Braves are still there.
Braves are still there? Oh,
yeah, they're still
So just the Indians?
Yeah. Yeah, and dude, there's a thing, man. There's quite a large native population in this area. I went to high school with a bunch of them. A whole lot of them had no problem and would proudly wear their Cleveland Indians hats.
Oh yeah.
They also didn't have a problem with it.
No. The one thing that's almost always true when it comes to these kind of cases is that the actual people that are being used to justify like changing the name or poo-pooing on whatever thing don't care most of the time. Those people actually give a shit. There might be like one or two who won't shut the fuck up that they put on TV, but like the 99.9% of them are like, fucking who cares? Like, get over it.
Yeah.
Like, this is dumb and we don't care.
Yeah,
or
that
they
is pretty
like
much
it,
how it goes.
or they like it in a lot of cases, you know.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there were all kinds of fucking wear the Indians hat proudly. They had no fucking problem with it. Calling them Indians, I get that it was a mistake by Columbus 500-600 years ago or whatever, but they don't fucking care. They're fine with it. It is not an epithet. It is
I
not a
imagine
slur.
they're more concerned with like life on the reservation for people and how miserable that can get. You know, like more than anything else.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I drive through the reservation actually on the way to appointments, and it's pretty much yeah. And I've obviously over the years, I used to work at the store over there for fucking several years too. It's a bleak environment.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, it's a bunch of like cinder block houses, basically.
Yeah, it's everyone I've ever seen. When you get like past whatever casino might be there, the actual living conditions are pretty awful.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and even with all the new money flowing in, because they all get a cut of that shit, of like the revenue from like the casinos and shit. They generally don't improve.
They get a cut depending on how Indian they are.
Yeah.
They start doing blood purity
They'll
tests
be
and
living in
making
those
sure
shitty
that
houses.
they reach the right level of purity before they get to have any of that sweet, sweet casino money.
But yeah, even the ones that live in the shitty houses, they're getting enough money to their situation, and they don't.
Oh yeah. Valid point.
Not all of them.
Cannot argue that point. There's always the ones that aren't Indian enough, where they're like too much white man blood or something, so they can't have part of the casino money. I worked with a lady that was like that, where she had enough Indian blood to get like the medical care, but they weren't going to give her any of the casino checks. They were like, no, you're not Indian enough for casino checks. And it's like, well, but she's part of your tribe. Like, why are you dictating, like, why is it not shared amongst the whole tribe?
Yeah, that's fucking nuts, man. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, the chick I worked with, like, her boyfriend was the Hono O'odham tribe. And, like, they'd go, like, if they were trying to get, like going to a hospital on another reservation or something. Like, the Indians, like, kind of hate each other. Only slightly less than they hate, like, white.
Oh yeah,
because they're like, yeah, I didn't want to say it.
Deep-seated feuds between various tribes, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, like they did not want to tell them that he was Tohono. They finally had to be like, yeah, he's T.O. And like, you know what I mean? They're gonna get treated like shit. And as soon as they know they're from another tribe.
Yeah.
I gotta head out. I'll talk to y'all later.
Have a good one,
right, peace out. Thanks for stopping by.
Adios. More drama with iDubbbz and all them. The guy, I just watched that stream about the guy who I guess worked for iDubbbz coming out and talking.
Oh, which one? The one that the fight trainer or the other one?
I think it's the fight trainer. Or no, it was the one with Wade Walker or whatever. Wade something or other.
Oh yeah, Wade something. Yeah, I forget the last name. Okay, no, that's a different one. Okay.
Oh, okay, that's a different
one. All right,
yeah. He was just
Ethan,
looking at the finances.
I
don't watch the streams live. I just watch like the VODs. So.
Yeah, the one with on the H3 podcast yesterday had the boxing trainer and his wife that like trained iDubbbz, and holy fuck, did they fucking shit on him like crazy. Oof. Yeah, if you haven't watched that, you really should, because it's really like, wow. I actually think a lot less of them, and I did not think much of them before hearing all this.
Oh yeah, well I mean, we all knew they're a bunch of money grubbing dirtbags. They're not there to fucking like the whole charity thing is just a cover for profit.
Yeah. You know, there's that part too, and then also like, holy shit, like, way more domineering than I ever thought possible. Like, she really does just run him fucking everywhere.
Well, okay, so did you hear the donut operator stuff?
Yeah. What?
The donut operator stuff?
Oh, dude, yeah, about the OnlyFans joke. They thought it was a personal attack on them.
No, not just that though. He was friends with iDubbbz.
Yeah,
Before iDubbbz was with Anita, and even he was like, oh yeah, he was a really cool guy until he started fucking that going. Like, once he and Anita got together, iDubbbz was just terrible after that.
Yeah. Because like I said, I was talking with my ex's son. I took him. He tagged along to the appointment today because he didn't have a ride either. But anyways, we were actually talking about that fact that she has to be just completely tearing him down in private.
Oh,
constantly. Yeah. Like way worse than I would have thought. Seriously, because and that was kind of what I was saying. I'm like, dude, think about the shit she says in public about this guy, about his shitty turd breath and him shitting his pants all the time and all that kind of thing. Like, what the fuck is she saying in private? Because apparently, in his mind, he is convinced that he is just an fucking socially inept fucking loser. And from what Donut Operator and other people have said, they're like, no, he's fine. You know what I mean? He was a person back then. He was fine to hang out with. Fun to hang out with.
Oh yeah, everybody says he was a great guy. He was like a lot of fun, like a really good guy. It's just sad. It's sad to see somebody get so fucking destroyed in a relationship.
Yeah, like it really should be taught, like in psychology school and shit. The gaslighting that she has managed to pull off with him. Like he really seems to think like, oh, find anyone else as good as her.
Yeah, she's like a 7, man. I don't even understand like what the allure is there. Yeah.
She's not my type, but she's not ugly. I'm not going to say she's ugly, other than her, who she is as a person. She's definitely not
fit, but she looks kind of like she's getting to the junkie stage, like where doing drugs is clearly gotten to the point where it's starting to affect her appearance. So
she's not she's definitely not aging well.
Yeah, she's not a 10. Yeah. Like if I was going to destroy my career and my life for a woman, like I would want her to be like a 10.
Yeah.
It's kind of
even that wouldn't be enough for me, but yeah, I get what you're saying. It might, we would hope it's at least a chick that's fucking worth.
Yeah, it wouldn't be enough. But I'm just saying, like if I was gonna do it, at least it would be better. Like that would be.
You would hope
something.
You would hope it would be like someone that's a world class level of attractiveness.
Yeah, somebody who's genuinely like very attractive would make that worth a lot more, like worth it more.
Yeah. So the level of he obviously must have incredibly, his level of self-worth has to be almost non-existent, like to begin with. You know what I mean? Because like, dude, he was like one of the fucking top. What I don't know where you'd put him. Like PewDiePie was probably obviously higher than him or whatever, but like he was up there, man. He was probably in the top 10 of creators as far as like income and shit. And popularity and all that shit.
Long ago in the faraway lands, yes.
Yeah, yeah, and fucking now like he really didn't think he could do better than that. He really didn't think he could do better than Anissa, dude. That's fucking. It's sad. I mean, it's his own doing. Well, because there must have been people over the years that have more than.
How old is he though? Like, what age is he? Like right now?
I think he's mid to late 30s, somewhere in that area.
Okay, never mind then. He's not. I was gonna say if he was in the like younger, like early 30s, I'd say he might be he might be suffering from that sort of weird, fucked up way that like a lot of the younger people look at relationships now. Like a lot of the people in their 20s and 30s, where it's almost like a competition against each other instead of looking for like a partner. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was gonna say maybe it was the case like that where he's like, it's like he doesn't understand the difference between somebody who's controlling your life and somebody who's a partner because of like society or something, and give him a little bit of an out there. But nah, if he's in his mid to late 30s, then he knows the difference. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It looks like 34. He's 34.
Yeah, he's not young enough to be part of that crowd. No. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of these people out there in these relationships where they don't understand, like, when you're trying to date somebody, you're looking for somebody to be like your partner against the world, not somebody you can beat or get one over on. Like, there's a lot of these
Yeah, you
women
have
and
to
men
have
out there
people
that are
trying
just
to.
like, yeah,
Yeah,
just
they
trying
think they need to win the relationship, or
yeah,
they
yeah.
need to be winning
It's
the
really fucking
relationship.
weird to me
Yeah.
because it's such a toxic way of
Yeah.
starting a relationship. Like, you
Mhm.
want to live with
Yeah.
a person that you want to fucking abuse like that. How is that going to
Yeah.
work for you long term?
It's pretty sick, man. It's pretty gross, dude.
And
Ugh.
also, there's a lot of just complete lack of motivation to succeed, which partially is the economy. I get it. But also, it's
Right.
just partially like people are just weirdly not motivated to want to work or do anything. Like,
Yeah.
they all seem to
Yeah.
be
They
like
haven't.
expecting the government to just take care of them, or mommy or daddy to, or something like that, where they just don't ever
Mhm.
pay for anything.
Yeah. Is that why they love communism? They just don't want to have to do anything.
Well,
They
that's
just want
why
the
I think
government
there's
to take
so
care
many
of them.
communists. Yeah, no, that's definitely why there's a push for communism. Is that there's a number of people that just don't want to work, and they think that here's the thing that's fucking amazing. All these people who talk about communism think that they're going to be like some sort of erudite intellectual
Yeah, they're going to be part of the
who
elite.
collects like a free check and doesn't have to do any work. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, if
Yeah.
history, you know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, they
look
don't
at
have
history,
generally
that's not
treat
how it works
the
out for
intellectuals
your
well.
group of people. Your group of people ends up
Yeah.
against the wall with bullet holes in their
Yeah.
fucking head. So you might want to fucking
Yeah, they don't
read
have.
a book once in a while there, Bubba.
Yeah. When communism takes over, the intellectuals tend to not fare well.
They tend to fucking die in droves because the last
Yeah.
thing you
Very
need when you're
quickly.
trying to convince people that stealing money from a big portion of them is fair is people who are smart.
Yeah. 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 Or I'm thinking, I actually think they're going to be part of the propaganda class. That's the only thing that kind of makes sense.
Well,
Because
they must.
actors and shit like that do very well in those kind of places if they play ball.
Oh yeah. Look at fucking Jackie Chan.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with what you're talking about, but all right.
Oh,
You want
he's
to
never
elaborate?
spoken
Go ahead.
against like the Chinese government. He never speaks out against any sort of like thing. He stays out of politics altogether, other than to promote China.
Oh, yeah,
And he's a
that's
Chinese
right. He's
citizen. He
from
does a
Hong
lot of his
Kong.
filming over in China.
Mm. That's pretty gross.
And he benefits from communism, no doubt, in having his studios over in China. And
Mm. 'Cause he's from Hong Kong, right?
I know he's straight up from China. I don't think he's from Hong Kong. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
Oh.
But
Okay, yeah, I could have sworn he was from Hong Kong. I'm probably mixing them up. All those Asians,
well, I heard that smoking a cigarette.
Yeah. All those Asians, they all seem alike.
Yeah, they all look alike. There we go. Good plan. No one will be concerned about that now. Let me look it up. I'm curious.
Yeah, Hong Kong. Yeah.
Oh, then I'm wrong. I'm entirely wrong. Yeah, never mind. Then I'm completely wrong.
Yeah, let's see. It says at the age of 7, Jackie was so poor they had to borrow money to pay the doctor for his delivery. His parents are super poor. British Hong Kong, allegedly, at the time. At the age of 7, he was enrolled in the China Drama Academy. All right, so that's probably where it started. His indoctrination into China ruling everything.
Oh, I could be wrong. Maybe he just stays out of politics because he's just like, I'm a fucking actor. It's none of my business. Because Hong Kong isn't communist. They're like the Essentially,
Well, you
Hong
remember
Kong
when
is
Britain-
what China would be if China wasn't taken over by communism.
They're not independent anymore, are they? I thought when they pulled out, the Chinese army like rolled in like immediately. Pissed
Oh, I
about
was
it.
thinking Taiwan. Never mind. Never mind. You're right. Yeah. That must have been where he started getting the indoctrination. I was getting Taiwan and Hong Kong confused. My bad. Because Taiwan is not
Yeah.
communist. Taiwan is ruled over by the original royals that ruled all of China.
Yeah. Yeah, Taiwan's very upset about not being like the people anyway. They seem to want to be free and be their own country.
Well, they're not indoctrinated and ignorant like the rest of the people in China. Like they know
Yeah.
how bad communism is. Because communism just has like the veneer of being fair. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, it seems like it's fair. Everybody works and everybody gets the same amount, but it's not really, because not everybody works as hard as everybody else. Like, you know, if you're working a lot harder or you're doing something that took you a lot more to learn, you should be making more money. Like, than the people that didn't.
Like a lot more. Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous to think that you should pay like a doctor the same amount of money as like a fast food worker.
Yeah, like an unskilled laborer and a doctor, there
stealing
should
money
be a
out
very
of the
large
doctor's pocket to pay for the lifestyle of the fast food worker is extremely unfair to the guy that did all the work, you know, and paid all that money. It's just not at all reasonable.
Yeah, it's absurd. It really is absurd, man. Like, no, yeah, those people that are doing those specialty jobs that not everybody can do or not everybody decided to do, or don't, you know what I mean? Go to fucking school for a decade or whatever.
Yeah, I would be a terrible doctor. Like, you should never let me be a doctor. That's an awful idea.
Yeah. I have no real interest in that. I have never had an interest in being a fucking doctor. Yeah. Whether I'd be good at it or not, who knows? Probably not. So, probably for the best. I didn't become a doctor.
Yeah.
But for anybody that could do all that shit, yeah, you should be making, more money than the average person.
Absolutely.
By a rather large amount. By a rather large amount.
You should be getting compensated fairly for the amount of work that you're doing on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Fair compensation.
And the import.
Which isn't to say that people that work, you know, like fast food and other stuff like right now are being fairly compensated. It's just to say that you can't justify taking money out of somebody else's pocket and giving it to them just because they happen to, like, you know, live in the same country. It's like, that's not really very reasonable.
Yeah, any fast food worker, sorry, but you're very replaceable.
Well, as it turns out, like, I can see a definite argument for that right now, because, like, all the places here now have the AI order taking thing, where it's like a little robot lady that you talk to, and you just takes your order. And I'm gonna be real honest here, it's a lot more effective and accurate than the people were. So, just goes to show, if you can be replaced with AI, it's kind of because you're fucking dumb.
Indeed.
It's like you
or the job
shitty at your job in the first place.
Right. Yeah, if you can replace that easily. Not necessarily a reflection on you, but definitely a reflection on how easy the fucking job is. And then, if you can't do it right.
I've had to recorrect people almost every single time that I've made orders at fast food places, and since they put in the AI system, I haven't had to once.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say they were dumb, like at least in my area. Not necessarily everybody, but you know, everybody that I've ever interacted with was a fucking moron that was doing it.
Yeah, a bad combination of just apathy and stupidity is probably not a great. Yeah, as far as taking orders from other human beings.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Although, you think about it. I mean, you can put that shit in yourself.
Well, and
nowadays.
The fucking the order process, it's all picture coded on on the computers they use to punch in the orders, isn't it? Like,
yeah, I think it is, right?
or
Yeah.
it's like, you know, you go to McDonald's and you order like a Whopper, and they have a picture of a Whopper on there.
Oh fuck! This just made me think of the Waffle House system. Did you ever see that one from Papa Meat from Meat Canyon about the Waffle House? How they convey their orders?
No, I did not.
Dude, oh fuck, dude, you have to see it. It's amazing, man. It's basically like it was designed for even illiterate people to be able to understand it. So it's something like, all right, if they want this, then you get you take this jelly packet, and then if it's other way and they want this,
that thing.
you
Yeah, that thing. That was fucking crazy.
Dude, it's hilarious,
I'd
right?
forgotten.
It's so
Yeah,
fucking
that was
funny.
hilarious. That was such a wacky fucking concept. Like, well, if they want a
Oh,
biscuit, you gotta
fuck.
put a jelly pack here, and you're like, fucking what?
Dude, it was amazing. I'm like, I can't believe that they're doing this. They're just like, you don't even have to. You can't really work the register, but you can take the orders and cook them. We just need one literate person that can run the register. That's about it.
You know, it's smart if you're running a fast food place and you're, you know, in this
Right.
day and age, that might actually be the way to go.
Yeah, although he put that in like a fucking decades ago, right? Like that's been the way apparently since they started. And Waffle House has been around for quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
it's just really. Yeah, I could not stop laughing throughout that whole.
Yeah, that was a great video. That was a lot of fun.
Go
You
through
know
the
what's
whole
interesting?
fucking,
I missed where he commented on the Ian and Hassan thing, the Ethan and Hassan
Oh
thing.
yeah, that was
I
very
wish
sad.
I'd seen where that came from, but it must have been some sort of live stream, and I don't really watch like Papa Meat's live streams. I just watch the occasional
Yeah, the
video
live
that he
streams
does, and occasionally I'll see a cartoon, but I watch the horror thing that he and Wendy Goon do. But it was very obvious from that he had no fucking idea what he was talking about. Just like the way he was talking about it, you're like, you clearly don't know
Yeah, you have no idea.
anything
You have
about
no clue.
this argument between these people. Like, why
Yeah,
are
like
you
it must.
weighing
I
in?
like, it's been at least like
stop,
3
Papa,
years.
Stop talking.
Yeah, yeah, and I assume it's kind of like I forget who I was watching. It's pretty obvious. His chat just wouldn't shut up about it, and so he was like, "All right, I'll say something. Here's my fucking brain dead, fucking ill-informed take."
Well, he tried to be sort of like gray man, like, you know, I think that they're both kind of not good at admitting when they're wrong, and it's like,
Yeah,
like, no, dude, sorry, but this is one of those rare cases where there's really only one side that's correct.
And that was probably true for Ethan for quite a while, but yeah, it's pretty obvious if you watch the show. He has.
Oh, you cut out for me after you said if you watch his show, you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you watch H3 show at all, like his fucking his staff like correct him and research and fucking correct him.
Oh, good.
Like,
no, that's smart then. Like I
Yeah,
can respect that having hiring people that were there just to tell you when you're wrong.
Yeah.
So that,
yeah,
you know,
he has no problem.
Yeah.
Has no problem being corrected or admitting when he's wrong.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know he had that. I never paid any attention to him.
Yeah, like the guy Dan, that all, and they'll fucking like research it or whatever. Somebody be like, yeah, that's. And sometimes he'll like be like an asshole, and be like, yeah, whatever, fucking, and like, you know, if it's funny, then he'll be an asshole about it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's more about being funny than actually genuinely like refusing to acknowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a bit. It's not him actually refusing to acknowledge.
I used to fuck with people in high school like that about certain things. Even when I knew I was wrong. I had a big argument going with these people where I said gold is not a metal. It's a mineral. Because it's fucking both. Like, I mean, just,
Yeah.
like everybody.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I did that for
Yeah,
fucking.
especially
I
if
did
the
that
other
for like a
person's-
week. I just kept fucking. No. And like one of the teachers figured it out quick because they had a teacher explain it, and he just was like, afterwards he was talking to me later, and he's like, "You're just fucking with them, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, as long as you're not that fucking stupid in real life."
Dude, that's brilliant. That is a great teacher.
Oh yeah, well he was
All right,
the
carry
one.
on.
If you were failing his class at the end of the year, because it was like a ROCP, it was like a regional occupation thing kind of thing, where you could learn about electronics and stuff, and he would give you the option to get extra credit by allowing him to shock you.
What the fuck, dude? All right.
And so,
One way to do it.
fucking, at the end of the year, you're like looking at like failing all your classes, and you might get a fucking C in his class if he got to run a few thousand volts through your arms. He was a very intelligent man who understood electronics, so he wasn't going to kill anybody. He just wanted to fuck with them. And so he would give him a shock. I'd say probably if you're looking at somebody getting like a stun gun hit, right? Like, oh, they got hit with a fucking stun gun. They're doing the little stun gun dance on the ground now. He was probably hitting people with maybe 10% of that. So not
really all that painful,
insignificant, but not terribly painful. Like it was enough to make him like, and then he'd laugh about it. And he was a father, and he told me one of the best stories I ever heard. I don't know if it's true. He was the kind of guy that it probably was true, but he rigged up a small device with 2 LED lights so that it would look like eyes, and put it under his daughter's bed.
Oh, Jesus, dude.
And,
that's fucked up. That's funny.
It's funny
That's
as hell,
horrible.
but he did that, and he's like, oh, before you go to bed, make sure you check for monsters, blah, 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 because he wanted to make sure she saw it. And so she was so used to this that he didn't hear when she went into the kitchen and got a broom, right? Because she saw the little fucking red eyes.
Yeah.
And so she came back with the broom and just started whacking the hell out of the thing. And fucking, so he didn't hear anything else until he comes up and finds her just beating the shit out of the device till it stopped working with the fucking broom, because she was like, monster. All right, well, we're going to fucking take care of this. Monsters.
That's a very brave little girl. Holy shit.
Well, he fucked with her all the time, because,
Oh, yeah, I guess she was kind of used to it.
She just was like, all right,
well,
there's a monster. I ain't going to tell my dad. I'm going to go fucking take care of business myself. I got this.
God damn, how old was she?
I think he said she was like 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah, that's impressive, actually. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
6 or 7, a little girl, not just freaking out?
This dude was like, so for all of his fucked upness, he was also the guy who was like, if you want to, you're taking the test in my class, you go look up whatever you want in a book. He says, it's ridiculous to expect you to memorize everything. I don't give a fuck if you know the right answer. I want to know that you learned how to find the right answer in my class, because that's going to serve you in life far better than any fucking memorization bullshit.
Nice.
And I was like, oh,
that's
hell
awesome.
Yeah. Because that's so much more real. Like, if you're working as like a chemist in a fucking lab somewhere, they don't expect you to know everything. Like, they maybe expect you to know things that are dangerous that they work with on a regular basis. Like, if you're working with sulfuric acid all the time, every day, yeah, you should probably have memorized everything about like what you should and shouldn't mix, and how to handle it
Right.
properly and all that other kind of stuff. But if you're one like looking up something that you don't normally work with, being able to find that answer is pretty fucking important.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Ah, damn. I remember in my I forget what class it was. It was like world history or like something like that. Basically, at the end when we are getting ready to take the final or whatever, my grade was fucking horrible. Like it was a solid F. And he's like, "All right, man. Pretty much, you're not going to pass the class." I'm like, "All right." But then I took the final and like fucking aced it because I was listening. Like I found the shit interesting. You know what I mean? I had a complete inability to do almost a complete inability to do homework.
Oh yeah, I was kind of like that.
Yeah, yeah. So like, I ended up actually passing it. So he at least gave me a D.
Nice.
So that was nice.
Yeah, homework
Yeah.
was always one of those things that I just could not fucking get myself to do when I should. But
Yeah, I actually
learning this
into
stuff was
adulthood. I've
easy.
struggled. Yeah, yeah, because I found the world history shit interesting. So I learned all this shit because I actually did find most of it interesting. I just couldn't be bothered to fucking do your stupid homework shit.
Yeah, all the fucking busy shit that you're like, oh yeah, you gotta memorize these dates and learn this fucking thing, and oh yeah, I hated that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, how about I
Yeah, I
learn
just
how to
couldn't
fucking
understand it.
find the information about these guys? Because that was the one that I really appreciated was
Yeah,
that
yeah,
class.
yeah, yeah. And again, that's the type of shit that you should be teaching, as
Yeah, I
opposed to
learned a
just
lot in
freaking
high
out
school
because
that
you
was
don't know
not
the
on
answer.
the fucking not actually in the fucking curriculum. Because I also confronted one of my teachers, and like, actually I confronted a couple different teachers, but like, I learned how to deal with that where I'd like, stand up and be like, all right, you know what, you're wrong, and this is why you're wrong, and you should really think about that. Like, there was this class, we were doing like a history class, and they wanted us to, it was about Russian history, and so everybody got like a different group of Russian like society. They're like aristocrats, the fucking middle class, the lower class, like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And we were
yeah.
supposed to do like a fucking partner dance in front of the class, part of our history thing.
The fuck?
Yeah, and I just straight up was like, look, nobody in this group is willing to get up and dance in front of the class. It's ridiculous that you expect that of one group and not every other group, and it's inappropriate.
Yeah. What the hell?
This isn't the place to go dancing. And I'm
Yeah.
happy
Why?
to,
Why would you do
we'll
that?
get up there as a group. We're happy to get up there and give all the information for the fucking class. But your expectations are
We're not
very
dancing.
unreasonable, and we're not going to be doing that.
Mm,
And he was like,
nice.
well, you guys are going to get an F on the test, the thing. And I'm like, that's your prerogative, like, do whatever you want, but you're not going to, we're not going to play this game
You're not
where
gonna make us
you do
dance
this ridiculous
in
shit.
fucking history.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be one thing. Like, you want to bring in somebody for us
Yeah.
to see it, that's fine.
Well,
But why the fuck are you trying to make us do it?
we could have done any number of other silly things that would have been totally appropriate to, like, talk about that, but it wasn't something that was important to the information we were passing on.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like, we were passing on, like, historical information about the aristocracy of Russia. That dancing is fucking not important.
Yeah, not seeing the actual dance. Like, you want to talk about the dancing being important?
Well, there were so many
I
other
can actually
things that
see
we were
the dance.
covering that were so much more important than, like, the dance, even
Yeah,
just talking about
no
dancing.
doubt.
But yeah, seeing the dance was totally unnecessary. And it's like,
Yeah, that seems like a power trip kind of thing.
it's one of those things where he wants to fucking make people squirm, and it probably entertained him. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's a fucking masochistic fucking. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I know none of these kids want to do this. I know it's some. I'm gonna force them to do it.
Yeah, and then I had this
Yeah.
dumb cunt of a fucking English teacher who would always be like, you have to back everything up. You're not Jesus. You're not Moses. You can't just decree stuff. And I'm like, well, that fucking depends, doesn't it? Am I writing a fucking textbook, or am I just expressing my opinion in a fucking essay? You know what I mean? Like, because, like, I'm sorry, I don't have to back up that I think Shakespeare is awful or I think Shakespeare is great. I can just say I don't like them. I don't have to stop in the middle of my essay and write a bunch of fucking things to prove it or something, in my opinion. It's like, no, that's just my opinion. No one has to agree with it. I'm just expressing
it. Yeah. I read it and I don't really enjoy it. Or I watch it and I don't want to think about it any deeper than that. Fucking horror. I mean, sorry, horror is a little strong, but
yeah, I got an F on a paper in college too, because like the lady found this incredibly awful poem, and we were supposed to review the poem, and I reviewed it and just panned it because it was fucking terrible. And she was like, "No, you were supposed to like it," and I'm like, "Fucking gave me an F."
What?
Yeah, I fucking. It was this was the same bitch, and this is a college course. This wasn't like a high school course.
Yeah, that's disturbing.
And this was like the standard English that you have to like pass this English, and that's the highest you have to take to get a degree, unless you're going for an English degree, then you might go higher. But otherwise, like there's no other subject that you're never gonna have to go beyond that level of English for anything. And she was also the bitch who would tear people's papers up if she graded them as an F.
Wow.
And I was like, I saw that on like the third day I was there, and went to the office after the class and was like, I need to drop that class. And I explained why, and I'm like, because I would not be civil. I'm like probably never gonna get an F on anything, but if she hands me back a paper torn in half, I'm gonna fucking scream at her in the middle of class. Like, you don't disrespect me like that. I don't give a shit who the fuck you are. Like, that's not gonna fly. I'm not a 6-year-old. I'm an adult, and if you can't behave and treat me and discuss things with me as an adult, then I'm gonna scream at you like a child, because that's how you're behaving. Like,
dude, is this
her last name
just
was
out of curiosity?
Huh?
Is this like an actual university, or is this like?
This was a junior college.
Jesus, wow.
They had a lot of fucking teachers that
college.
shouldn't have had the class. Should not have been teachers. This lady's last name was actually Reader. It was like Diana Reader. And I should have known better than to take an English class from a teacher named Reader. That should have been my tip off right there. That was my own fault. There was one guy who was literally just mentally falling apart. Like, he'd had some sort of heart problem and was on medications and had surgeries and was clearly like in terrible health. And he just couldn't stay on topic or teach anything for any length of time. He'd start off with, and this is for automotive, it was like he was teaching the diagnostics for automotive, so arguably the most important class, how to figure out what's wrong with a car. Like, a car won't start. Yeah. There could be 3 or 4 different things. You need to learn to know how to test them and what order you should test them in. Right?
Right.
He couldn't even teach us that, because he'd be like, well, the starter on a standard automatic blah, blah, blah. These pancakes I had this morning were amazing. They were blueberries. And, the moon revolves at a certain speed, and you're just like, he'd fall apart, and then he'd start screaming at the class because we weren't paying attention.
Wow.
And so it was just absolutely bonkers.
Find these teachers.
I've
never had a teacher remotely like what you're describing, dude, anywhere.
I filled out a petition and got it signed by every student in the class. We're like, can you please remove this teacher? This is one of the most important things we have in this entire like automotive program. This is the most important thing. Yeah. And he's clearly incompetent and incapable of any of this.
And you guys sit in on anybody's classes?
He would routinely scream at the class and be like, "You're a bunch of fucking idiots. You don't know what you're doing. You're too stupid to be mechanics." Like, just incredibly mean and unnecessary shit. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, all because of his own frustration at losing his
Yeah.
fucking faculties.
There was another guy there who taught the transmissions courses. Like, he specifically taught about transmissions. And
Right.
we were, or no, he taught brakes. That's right, he taught brakes. We were doing the brakes on my car, and part of that process involved taking half of the fucking the front axle out, because the front axle on the car was two half shafts. So instead of one long shaft, it was two small shafts that plugged in on either side of the transmission to go to the wheels. And we were already taking
Right.
half of them off. So literally, all you have to do from there is just give them a little tug, and you can pull them out, and then put another one in, and then finish your brake job. It's like 20 seconds, right? And because
Right.
the half shafts weren't considered part of the braking system, he failed us for replacing the half shafts while we were doing a brake job.
Wow.
And it was like, you're an asshole. Like, why are you even bothering? Like, there's no
Yeah.
reason to
How is
fail.
that an
It's
issue?
complete nonsense. And he's like, well, I gotta have standards. And I'm like, no, you're developmentally delayed. You're a fucking retard. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like, you shouldn't be in this class.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
So you did
what's the
more?
motivation for students to bring their own fucking cars in to work on if you're gonna fail
Right.
them for doing stuff that's that simple? You know, it's not like I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm doing the brakes. Well, I'm also gonna replace my gas tank and spend like
Right.
20 fucking hours that I don't need to on the fucking lifts, taking
Yeah.
time from
I'm gonna
someone
rebuild the
else.
transmission while I'm replacing the brakes. Yeah, that would be that would be one thing. But yeah, if it's
Yeah.
literally something that's that fucking fast, like
Yeah.
wow, we did something that took an extra half a minute maybe. Yeah, that's fucking evil.
Yeah, it's literally like you take the fucking the front of the fucking the discs off of the fucking half shaft, so they're not connected to anything anymore except for the transmission. So you just pull out one and then put another one in. There's not even bolts or screws that you need to do at that point.
Wow.
Like, it's literally, you just use your hand and pull the half shaft out and put another half shaft in. It's like, it was such an easy one. Oh man, such a weird class.
So it's basically, yeah, no, I hate where I'm at, so I'm gonna take it out on you guys, on you
Yeah,
students
it
that
was
still
just,
have
it
your
was
life
just,
ahead of you.
he was a really nice guy. He was just really fucking dumb. And so he genuinely thought that was a reasonable thing, and that he was being like, that was integrity.
Like he was being fair. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was
He was
like,
doing
no,
what
you're
you
not
like.
being fair. You're just being stupid, and you're small-minded. You know, it's
Yeah. Yeah. You're quite obviously have a complete inability to think outside the box remotely.
like there's a line that you should draw there. You're drawing it way, way past where the line should be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, like I said, like, oh, well, while we're at it, let's rebuild the engine. Okay, yeah, no, that's enough of a deviation and failure, I'd say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I worked with some people rebuilding, during my automotive course, I rebuilt an engine and I rebuilt a transmission with groups of people. And we actually were, both the engine and the transmission we rebuilt were two different classes, but they were both actually going into a person's car. They came out of a person's vehicle and were going back into an actual person's vehicle, as opposed to the majority of the class just doing ones that the school owned that got rebuilt every year by the kids. And
Right.
they saddled me with some fucking morons to work on those. Like, had I not been there, whoever got that work done would have been pissed, because it would have fallen apart inside of like a month or two. Like, we had one guy who just started putting shit together with the transmission without any idea of where it went. Like, we'd taken apart the transmission, completely apart. Like, we even took the valve body apart, where all the little springs and the fucking the little silver balls that are the valves themselves were pulled out and like separate. And he just started putting shit together, like, not replacing any of the things that need to be replaced. We didn't take, he didn't wait for us to clean anything. And it was like, dude, what are you?
You
What are you
just thought it was
fucking
some kind of
doing?
puzzle.
Yeah, like what the fuck are you doing? Like, number one, we haven't finished like replacing all the things that need to be replaced and cleaning all the things that need to be cleaned and lubricating everything properly so that when you start it up, it doesn't immediately seize.
Wow.
You have to use a special kind of lubricant when you put it back together so that everything will stay like move until the transmission fluid starts flowing properly.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. That's scary, right? Like
Yeah,
holy fuck,
I
did
mean,
that
if I
guy
hadn't
ever
been in
get
that group, the other kids were not going to say anything, and it's like, well, what are you doing? Like, this is ridiculous. Wait to do it correctly, because there's with the transmission, there's literally a book you buy for each transmission, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you each kind of transmission has its own book, and that book will give you an exact order, step by step, of how to put it together and how to take it apart. And you just follow the book. It's like doing Legos, but with a book and a transmission.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this
It's
guy
like a
was
really advanced version of like IKEA friend.
yes, very much so. Oh man,
Sorry, the Legos one was good, but I wanted to make one.
the IKEA one
My
is
apologies.
actually a little better, honestly.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh shit, I think it's dinner time here. Oh yeah, we're at like 6:30 because we started so late. But
Damn, I'm supposed to go get my prescription. Fuck, man. Yeah, they close at 7. I gotta go.
okay.
God.
Adios.
Yeah,